Jason, it's all yours.
Well, thank you. Quiet the crowd. I want to welcome you to 2018. I remember when I was a little kid, and I remember thinking, man, when it becomes 1980, that just sounds so far away. And then when 1980 came, thinking of year 2000, it just seemed like, especially when the movie, The Space Odyssey 2001 came out, remember? That sounded like it was just, you'll be dead by the time that movie comes out. Or should I say, the title of that movie, 2001. Here we are approaching 2020, and it just is amazing, the things that we have, the things that the technology has provided us, and knowledge and opportunity. And so I hope that you made some resolutions for this new year. And let's clear out some business. First, as a reminder, why are we here? Why do we come here? We come because we believe, we three believe, that we can overcome the symptoms of metabolic syndrome. I believe and have as a passion that we will overcome metabolic syndrome in North America in my lifetime. Now, that doesn't mean that I believe that our products are going to make me last 500 years. I believe that it can happen in my lifetime, in your lifetime. Now, why do I believe that? Because I've seen thousands of people overcome the symptom in my own life, in this business, in what I started 10 years ago. What is metabolic syndrome? It's being overweight. It's having high blood pressure, high cholesterol, having elevated glucose levels, having a fatty liver. And then there's literally hundreds of sister symptoms, things like arthritis, things like fibromyalgia, things like cognitive thought, not being able to remember things, having low energy, having allergies. Those are all sister symptoms, and the list goes on. But what is the root cause? And that is metabolic syndrome. And so why would I believe, why would I make such a bold statement and attach my passion to it, that we can overcome metabolic syndrome in my lifetime? Because clinical studies, after clinical study, over 20,000 clinical studies have established that this protocol, the one that we follow, the one that I preach, the one that I stand on my soapbox and tell people about, has been proven to overcome it. How fast? If everybody in the world got on a program like ours, now I believe ours is the best because it's simple, it's yummy, it's all natural, it's cost effective, $3.57 a meal. Holy cow, how can we ever beat that price? And as you people know, it tastes delicious, it's easy to do, it's easy to follow. All we have to do is do that to overcome the symptoms of metabolic syndrome. The studies show that if we follow that kind of a program, in 18 weeks, we can physiologically overcome metabolic syndrome. We won't have it anymore. We won't have high blood pressure. We won't have high cholesterol. Now, if we're excessively overweight, we might not lose all of our weight in 18 weeks, but we'll definitely be on our way. The important thing is that we will overcome the symptom of why we gained the weight in the first place, why we had high blood pressure and cholesterol and digestive disorders. That's the difference of this program, as I don't care about your symptoms. Well, wait a minute. I just said that I want to overcome metabolic syndrome, and then I listed the symptoms. I don't care about you losing weight. What I care about is helping you to overcome why you gained the weight, why you have high blood pressure. You see, medication treats the symptom. Medication can make your blood pressure go down. Now, it'll give you a whole list of other problems, but it will make it go down, but it won't stop what caused your high blood pressure to happen in the first place. And that's what 3 Believe does. That's why we're different. You see, what we're actually doing is we're just empowering your body to do the very thing that it was created to do in the first place. I don't have a magic berry. I don't have an elixir from a deep forest in another land. I don't have a special juice that you have to drink, and I'm the only one that has it. No, I don't have that. What I have is the science that tells us if you put this ingredient in your body, and you do it this often, and you do it this dose, your body's going to take that, and it's going to have the building blocks of what it needs to overcome what's wrong with it. That's all I'm doing. Now, I'll admit, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve. We have some technologies that nobody else has. We have a yummy tasting pizza that tastes just like a regular gourmet pizza, but it has 90% less calories than pizza that can add to your ailments, right? Add to your waistline, add to your glucose levels, add to your blood pressure, things like that. But the real magic is that CMR, is that shake and that oil. You take that on a regular basis, and you are assured to have the symptoms of metabolic syndrome go away. That's why we're here. So I just wanted to make sure you remembered, because it hasn't been since 2017 that we've talked. So I wanted to remind you. So let's talk about a couple of business things. First, I want to remind everybody that you have till Saturday. Well, that's in 2 days. To send in your video and your story. We only have 10 stories received and 5 videos. Now, 28 of you have signed up. Now, I'm gonna lovingly tease you a little bit here. Part of the reason why you joined this Freedom Train training is to change what was in the past, pull out of the station, and go to a new destination. Now, I told you right from the get-go that you were going to have to do things that were uncomfortable. But I promised you that if you did them, that your future is going to be very different than your past. You're going to gain things that you currently don't have, things that you want to have. Things like financial freedom and things like ailment freedom, freedom from sickness, freedom from some of the things that have been plaguing you with. Well, those seems like some pretty bold promises, but they will happen if you just do the small things. I'm not asking you to solve all your financial problems or all your ailments at one time. What I do is I give you baby steps. Now, one of the baby steps I asked you to do is to send me your story. I want you to tell me why you picked the element of whatever topic that you picked to be in the Freedom Train. Some of you picked diabetes, some of you picked weight, some of you picked financial freedom. Whatever it is, I want you to tell me your story. Now, in there, there's a reason why I'm having you do that. But I'm not going to tell you what it is until I receive your story first. Then what I wanted you to do is I wanted you to shoot me a video. I wanted to keep it short, right? Just a couple of minutes long. And I want you to tell me what experience that you had. Now, don't sell the 3 Believe program. I'm not asking you to even say 3 Believe. Just tell your story. And I'll help you with how we're going to use that as a tool in the next assignment. The truth is, if you can't do the first assignment, well, then how are you going to do any of the other assignments? And so I need you to fill those out. You will not be able to advance on to the next course until you hand out your assignment. You see, now here's a little trick I have up my sleeve. Every week when we give, we will have a different night of the week when the members of the Freedom Train meet. I haven't decided what it is yet. Actually, to be honest with you, I'm trying to work out some things in my personal life to free up some time. so I can have it be on the same night of the week. A little transparency there. And so I'm trying to pick the night that's best, and then it'll be recorded. So if it doesn't fit in with your schedule, you can watch a recording. You'll still be able to get it. But I want you to, what I was saying is I have the trick up my sleeve is that if you don't do the assignment that I give you from the previous week, you won't be given the access code into the next webinar for the freedom training. Oh, that's a dirty little trick, isn't it? You see, I've learned that if there are not assignments and accountability given, then people don't take it seriously. It's kind of the same adage that you heard, that if you just give money to someone, they don't respect it very much because it's not theirs, you see. If they have to earn it, if they pay money for it, or if they put in time for it, if they spend effort doing it, then now they take some ownership to it. It creates value for them. And you've heard that adage, what's more important, to give a man a fish or to teach them how to fish, right? And so I'm teaching you. It's as hard as it is for me, I want to do the easy thing for you, but I just have learned time and time again that it doesn't work. So get those assignments in. Don't worry what they look like. I'm going to change them anyway. I'm going to tell you how to make them effective so that people in social media are captivated by your story, are moved by your video. Don't worry about what it is, because we're going to teach you how to do it right. I need you to take this first step. Next one. I heard a little bit today about, I haven't heard it for a little while, but I heard it today about someone complaining about having to buy the bio kit, mainly the scale. Now, you know I love you. I started this because I love people. Because when I overcame the symptoms of metabolic syndrome 10 years ago, I was 280 pounds. I had every one of the symptoms. Felt terrible. I'm an ex-athlete. I thought I was a superhero, and when I looked in the mirror, what I saw in my head did not match my image reflecting back to me, but I knew that superhero was still in there somewhere. He was just covered up in this costume, right? Well, I did this. I transformed it from my own personal experience to I have to tell people about this that I found, these studies that I discovered. Had to. And so the reason why I am doing the bioscale is for a reason. Now, one of them is that progress not measured isn't known progress. You don't even know what the progress is. How are you going to tell a story? How are you going to tell your testimony if you don't have something to measure it from? One, people are going to ask you, well, how do you know that you got better? You see, you can say, well, because I started on the 15, and I weighed this much, and I had this much fat, and I had this much water, I had this much muscle, and now look at my numbers. It is identifiable, it is irrefutable. You see, it becomes more valuable to the person you're telling it to. And to be honest with you, it becomes more valuable to you. The other reason why I have to get the scale is because if you want to, we have 3 different designations that you can become involved with 3 beliefs. One is you can be a sales representative. That means that you can buy the product at wholesale and you can sell it to someone else and make money. You can join or have a partner join your organization, your online business, and their efforts are also helping you in your goals, just like a sales manager does over a sales team, right? And in doing that, I force you to qualify to be a distributor. Just like if we were a plumbing supply company. If you wanted to sell my pipes and my fittings and my product, I would require you to qualify to be a distributor. I want you to know my product. I want you to know how it works, the benefits of it, and I'd make you buy a certain amount of volume to be a distributor. If not, then just any Joe Blow could come and buy my parts, and I'm selling my wholesale product to a retail customer. You see, we have wholesale, we have retail, and we have an affiliate. Now, the wholesale is for business builders. It's not an excuse for people just to be able to buy retail. And I'm going to tell you that you don't want people in your organization, in your business, that buy wholesale and yet really are just retail customers. I'm not saying that you don't want retail customers. No, don't misunderstand me. Retail customers are wonderful, but not everybody wants to own their own business. But you see, there's benefits. Once you make that decision to be wholesale, you get a benefit of buying it at wholesale prices. But there's a higher level of obligation. There's a higher standard for wholesale people. So I'm not forcing everybody by a scale. I'm just forcing people that they have to meet the standards to be able to be a wholesale distributor, and that is the bio kit. So just trust me, after thousands and thousands and thousands of customers going through our business over the last 10 years, I have noticed a difference by having an obligation and having those measurements. Trust me, I've done it the other way. In the doctor's offices, when we sell it to them, we have the same requirement. But I'll tell you what, when we have a doctor's office sign up under our original name, they have to pay $55,000 to get started. Oh, that's a different story, isn't it? You see? The bio kit's very important. If you don't want to buy the bio kit, that's okay. Then sign up as an affiliate or sign up as a retail customer. Number 4, I want to talk about I had someone asking about what happens if someone is a sales rep and they pass away, they die. What happens to their organization? Well, if you look online, down at the very bottom of the page, there is something called the Statement of Policy. If you go there, it's already written out. But I'm going to read upon it. It's under the transfer upon death of an independent sales representative. And I'm just going to read it really quick here, and it'll become really clear. It's in section 4.29. To effect testamentary transfer of a 3-believe business, the successor must provide the following to 3-believe, to us. 1, an original death certificate. You got to prove that the person that holds the position has passed on. 2, a notarized copy of the will or other instrument establishing the successor's right to the 3-believe business. That means that if that person, let's say it's you, if you want to pass on your business to your spouse or to your children, then I suggest you make a will. Because we can't recognize just someone calling up saying, hey, that's my dad and I got the business. Because I will not get involved in a family squabble. I don't want the other sibling coming along and saying, whoa, wait a minute. He promised that to me. No, won't get involved. So write it up in your will. Clearly spell it out. Okay? If you want to transfer it to 2 other people, then you may. I suggest you do that in a family trust, and then the trust can be the distributor. But there has to be an acting person. I have to name it to a person, and that person can be the person that's managing this trust. Anyway, number 3, a completed and executed independent sales representative agreement. They have to fill out the same form that you filled out. And if they want to be a distributor, guess what they have to do? Oh, they got to get a bio kit. Yep, happens there too. So there's the answer. I spent a lot of time in writing these policies and procedures, and it's already there for you. So hopefully that answers any questions. I'm kind of excited about something. Another point of business. Some of you have been asking about the name for the ashwagandha product. Now we haven't got in, I haven't decided yet. Honestly, we only got a few people giving us some names. So one, I haven't decided yet, and two, if you remember, I said that you'd get free product of the ashwagandha for, oh, how long did I say? 6 months? A year? Help me remember.
6 months.
6 months, okay.
I believe, yes.
6 months of free product of the ashwagandha, thank you. If we pick the name that you chose. So keep sending those in. We haven't made that decision yet. But I wanted to talk about something that I've been working on, and I'm going to admit my staff hates it when I do this, but I can't resist. I'm just so excited about it. I've been working. When we started this business 10 years ago, one of the things I did, matter of fact, I made the formula, but then I gave it to another company to actually put it together, because we didn't have our own operating equipment, right? So I took it to another formulator. Wasn't a food scientist, but it was a formulator, and they knew a lot more than me. And I gave them this formula. Where did the formula came out of? Well, to be honest with you, it came out right of all the studies that I did. I read 600 clinical studies, and the study said, well, you need this ingredient, you need it in this dose, and it has to be this form. Oh, sounds good to me. I'll write that down. And all of them had to be peer-reviewed clinical studies, meaning another study had to confirm what the first study found. They had to get the same results, okay? And so I took the formula to this formulator and said, I want you to make this product for me. Well, when it came down to the enzymes, they said, why are you putting so many enzymes in here? And by the way, these enzymes here are really expensive. Do you realize how expensive this is going to be? And the doses are really high. Why are you doing that? Well, because the study said that was really important. The study said that 47%, or I'm sorry, I get this wrong every time I say it. All Americans, this study was at 20,000 people, all right, all across the country, so in all parts of the country, 20,000 people, and they found that out of those 20,000, all of them, 47% on average, some were lower, some were a little higher, but the average were 47% digestive quality. That means that out of all the food that you're eating before you took the CMR, your body was only getting 47% of it. You might as well just, when you bought that steak and that hamburger and that milkshake and that apple, you might as well just paid twice as much for it, because your body's only getting half. You're paying 100%, but your body was only getting half of it, less than half. And that affected me. I thought, wait a minute, if people are going to buy my CMR, if they're going to buy my product, I want them to get all their money's worth. I want them to get all of it. So how do I do that? Well, the study told me, you need these digestive enzymes. Okay, so let's put them in there. And it told me which ones were the best ones and which ones were the right kind of spores and enzyme quality. And so I put it in there, and he just shook his head and he says, just nobody does this. Nobody does that. Make them, instead, why don't you offer it to them, tell them if they want a good digestive quality, sell it in a separate bottle and tell them to buy that and you'll make more money. No, I didn't want that. I didn't want to nickel and dime my customers. Now, it's not to say that we don't have additional products, but I am here to say that if you took our formula, the CMR and our oil and water on a daily basis for the rest of your life, nutritionally you wouldn't need anything else. That's what the study says. You will live an optimum level of nutrition and health quality by doing that. And that's what I wanted for you. Now, there are times in our life when we need more of certain things. And there are times when we need additional things. But that's not for everybody. The things that are in there are things that everybody needs. And so that's why they're in there. Why did I get on that little story? Well, because I've been doing some research, and I've always wanted to increase the quality of your digestive system. More and more studies are coming out. Matter of fact, recent studies are saying that all, not most, that all chronic diseases come from a weak digestive flora. Wow. Now, just gobble that up for a minute. All chronic diseases come from a weak digestive flora. That means your digestive system is the center of all disease. If you don't have what you need to break down the foods that you're eating, you're going to get sick. That's a bold statement. That's what the studies are telling us more and more. And let me give you an example. I'm looking at a study right here. Here's just a short list of the chronic diseases that are caused by having a weak digestive flora. Ulcers, Crohn's disease, type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes. Oh, that's a bold one. That's not what the earlier, like from the Diabetes Association, is telling us. That's hereditary. You can't do anything about it. Not according to this study, and many others like it. Obesity, depression. You're depressed because you don't have enough digestive enzymes? Well, apparently. Many and most cancers. Celiac disease. Parkinson's disease. Autism. There's another one with a lot of motion to it. Lupus. Rheumatoid arthritis, asthma, allergies, cardiovascular disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome's listed in here. Irritable bowel syndrome. And I'll admit, there's the next ones, I don't even know what they are. I'll have to look them up. Cirrhosis of the liver. Endocrine colitis. These are some major issues, all caused and solved by digestive enzymes. So, why am I talking about this? Well, I have a dream. And I believe that the future of nutrition is personalized nutrition. Meaning, exactly if we get right down to the final, every little bit of nutrient that we get, what Merv's body needs is different than what Bob's needs. Even twins, brother and sister, living in the same home, eating the same foods, doing the same things, living in the same climate, being the same race, even their digestive systems are different. What their body is processing and how efficiently it's doing it is different. And the only way to solve that is by personalized nutrition. Now, if I do that and I give you a list of all those things, even if you have the list in there, you're not going to follow it all because it's too hard. And some of you in Nebraska and rural Kansas, your store doesn't carry the foods that you need, that your list that I gave you just said that you had to have. Well, not only that, but there's over 300 different digestive enzymes that's supposed to be in your system, right? And does that mean that you got to take 300 capsules every day? Oh, I know you won't do it. You could be dedicated to your health and you won't do it. So how can I make this simple? Well, it's been a dream of mine, been a little bit of a bother to me. How do I solve this problem? Well, let me tell you a huge leap that we've made in this area. So this is what's coming in 2018, boys and girls. I hope you're as excited about it as I am. I have come across a company. I was going to do all this on my own, but thank goodness I don't have to. So that means that my wife will get to see me at home a little bit earlier because I won't be at the office doing this myself. There's a company that spent over $100 million in developing the laboratory testing, because in the world of digestive analysis, there's even been third-party studies that they take the same digestive analysis of one person and send it to multiple labs and get vastly different results. And what does that mean? It means that the testing that they're using, the type of testing that they're using, is not conclusive enough. So they actually created a patented and clinically proven accurate analysis system. It's exactly the same every time. That's important, right? It's like if you take your car into the mechanic and one guy says your alignment's out because of a tie rod, another one says it's out because your wheel's wobbly, and the other one says, well, it's because you don't have a wheel. Well, those are three different answers to the same problem. You don't know which one to believe. So the testing is critical. Well, this company has spent $100 million in developing this technique, right? So what they do is it's a kit. It's a little kit that you swab your cheek, your skin, and you put saliva in a little sample. That's the second test. The third test, you capture a little bit of a urine sample, and the next one is a feces sample from your excrement. You send all these in, and it tells you exactly what enzymes you do have, the ones you don't have that you need, and it tells you what you need to change to avoid all these chronic diseases. Talk about a roadmap. But they don't sell any products. Okay? They want to be independent. They don't want to have an ulterior motive. Right? Noble, good, but they are interested in working with us in providing these tests. Now, this testing is upwards of about $1,500 a year. They test every quarter. Now, that's more money than I want it to be. So I'm working with them to get that price down considerably, to having it be included with our program so that every one of you and every one of your clients can now know exactly what it is that's going wrong, why things haven't worked, and be able to overcome it. We will have we'll be adding to our product line so that you will be able to have a personalized Merv and Ron and Bob and Roger and Steve and Tom's individual nutrition program specifically to your system. And nothing is more accurate than your digestion. It's more accurate than your blood. Because before it gets in your blood, what does it have to go through? It has to go through your digestive system. Matter of fact, it will never show up in your blood if your digestive system doesn't break it down and deliver it into your blood. That's how important. There is no better line of defense or line of acute measurement than your digestive system. It's better than your saliva. It's better than your urine. It by itself. This combination will tell us exactly what you need and what you do have. Very exciting time. This will put us so far ahead. We're already far ahead of the competition. This will put us so far ahead than the competition that you'll have doctors and hospitals and specialists knocking your door down, asking you to make that available to them and their patients. This is an exciting proposition. So I'm very, very happy to come. I thought it would be a couple of years before I'd be able to roll this out, but now it's right here at our doorstep. So super exciting. Very, very happy about that. So it's January. Right now it's January 4th. Oh, some of you might be wondering, did I just forget to clean up? Or why is there a jug of water behind me right here? Now, for those of you that can't see this jug right here holds 2.5 gallons of water. Now, I'm drinking 2.5 gallons of water, almost, just slightly under 2.5 gallons of water every day. Now, I haven't been drinking that much. I tell you to drink take your body weight, cut it in half. So if you weigh 200 pounds, cut that in half, that's 100 pounds. That's how many ounces of water you should be drinking every day. Why in the world am I drinking 2.5 gallons? So let's do some math real quick. 2.5 gallons, that's what, upwards of 300 ounces. I'm sorry, 400 ounces. Yeah, 384 ounces a day. No, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. 320 ounces a day. Now, for me to drink that much, that would mean that based on my earlier advice to you, I'd have to weigh 640 pounds. Now, I don't weigh 640 pounds. I've never weighed that much. And so why am I telling you that? Because I'm doing a new study. I'm always researching for you. This is how much I love you. I put my body through the test. So I'm doing some research right now. A new level of health. Something that you're going to utilize when I'm done with it. Where it requires a lot. I didn't know it, but I'm going through that much water. I'm not forcing myself. Hang on. I got to take a water break. That was a water drink. I'm not having to force myself to drink it. It's just naturally I'm going through more water because of the special research that I'm doing. I'm just testing that I'm putting my body through, and I'll tell you about it later. So that's a cliffhanger for you. So I was talking about what time of year it is. Well, it's January. It's January 4th. Did you know that January 15th is New Year's resolutions death day? 95% of all those that make a resolution stop trying or have already broken their resolution by the 15th. 95%. Now, the number of people that actually do resolutions is dropping. That's just of those that do a resolution. Have you made one yet? Well, it's not too late. And if you have broken your resolution, this is how you recover from it and not break it. So I want you to grab a piece of paper. So I'm gonna give you some points here that I have found to be useful in my life. All right. So you know I'm an avid reader. I read all kinds of material, not just food sciences stuff, but all kinds of things. Self-improvement stuff, religious things, political and financial and world economic and social. I'd love to read. My wife gets mad at me and jokes with me, bangs on the bathroom door. You've been in there for 40 minutes. Well, I get caught up in reading. I don't waste my time. I'm in there reading on my smartphone, which I know that at least 28 of you have, because that was one of the requirements of being on the Freedom Train. Good job. And by the way, isn't it kind of cool, all the features that a smartphone can do? Well, let's get back to the resolutions. Why don't we make resolutions anymore? And if you haven't made one, why haven't you? Well, it's probably likely because you've learned that in most of the cases when you did do a resolution, they just turned out being a disappointment to us, and you feel bad. And who wants to feel bad? Why bother, right? Well, let me tell you a secret. A secret to happiness is progress. Always expanding, always growing, improving. And if you read the Bible will tell you that happiness is found in righteousness. Being righteous, practicing righteous things. Not being perfect, just being involved in righteousness. Now, isn't those two words in harmony with each other? Righteousness is progress, isn't it? You move from doing things that are wicked into things that are righteous and good. Well, that's progress. And progress is a righteous thing to do. Wouldn't you agree? So they're the same thing. I advise you, don't work on changing your life. So when you do a resolution, don't focus on changing your life. Because the truth is, change happens automatically. You don't have to work on change. The weather changes on its own. The economy changes. Today, in fact, the stock market hit 25,000 for the first time the stock market's been open. That's never happened before. Did you do anything to make that happen? No, not unless you bought some stock today. Relationships change, your job changes. In fact, your body changes. Those of you on this program knows that your body changes. You see, change doesn't need you to work on it. It happens automatically. Don't set your resolution on a change. I want to get better. I want to make more money. I want to change from being lazy. Okay? That will happen on its own. Change is not progress. So how do you make a lasting change in your life? Something we call progress. How do you make progress happen in your life? First, create a vision. Because of you, my vision is coming into reality. Because of you, I'm getting closer to eradicating metabolic syndrome in our lifetime. In fact, to be more detailed, what is my goal? My goal is to take metabolic syndrome and no longer be an epidemic. That means that it is not growing faster than it is depleting. That means that there are more people not being overweight or obese than there are people becoming. There are more people overcoming type 2 diabetes than those that are becoming diabetic. Okay, that's what an epidemic is. That is my vision, and you're helping me on that. So I want you to take and create a vision of something or a good idea of something that you know that you should do. Don't do that. Don't do what you should do. You know you should lose 10 pounds. You know you should stop smoking. You know you should stop swearing. Things like that. We have a long list of shoulds. Make your vision be something that will pull you into progress. A passion will pull you, right? Motivation is a pushing force, and it won't last forever. It's like willpower. Your motivation will eventually run out. Your willpower will run out. Passion will pull you through the hard times even when you don't have the strength. That's what it's done for me, and that's what it does for others when you have a passion. Create a vision with passion. Number 2, it means that you need strong enough reasons that keep you going. You will do things that other people won't because their motivation ran out. You'll keep going because your reasons are strong enough. What's one of my reasons? Well, first it started out with I wanted to no longer have the symptoms of metabolic syndrome. I wanted to be alive for my children. I wanted to be there for my grandchildren when I got them. I wanted to bring back some of the health and vitality that I had when I was an athlete. I wanted, then that translated to I wanted other people to benefit from the blessings that I enjoyed. That's my passion, right? And what I recommend, or the third step, is that you have to review your created passion every day. It has to be in front of you all the time. To help with this, I recommend that you create a vision board, an outline, the outline of creating a vision board. I'll give you here in a second, but what better way is there of you looking at your goals that are your passions? That's a vision board that's up on your wall every day. We create every idea into a mental image anyway, so if you do that for you on the wall, it'll have a longer lasting impact. Okay? Our brain, we have something called reticular activating system, or RAS. Now this system in your brain is what your brain uses to focus on things. Did you know that your conscious mind can process 50 bits of information every second? So let's try. How far can we count in 1 second? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I got to 8. 50 bits of information your brain can process every second. Imagine that. Now, think about this. Did you know that the brain processes subconsciously around 0.1 quadrillion bits of information every second? Your body sends your brain 11 million bits of information every second for the brain to process. Now, that 50 bits that your conscious mind is processing seems like a small number. It seemed like gigantic a minute ago, and now it's small. What I'm trying to say is that your body, your mind has abilities that you have not even considered. Now, this RAS, this recognizing system, focuses on things that recognizes things that you're focusing on. It's kind of like when you buy a new car, right? And let's say that the car is white. All of a sudden you notice, did everybody go out and buy a new car that's white too? Because your brain starts noticing things that you're focusing on, and you're focusing on that white car that you just bought. And you notice it with houses that are like yours, and shirts that you bought that other people, all of a sudden you start seeing it around. That is your RAS. So how do you activate your RAS? By having it in front of your mind all the time. That's why the vision board is so powerful. Now here's my recommendation for the vision board to make them effective if you've never done one. Take last year. Look at last year, and I want you to take 2 sheets of paper. On 1 sheet of paper, I want you to list all the things that went really well. All the things that did good. Maybe some of those things are going to be things that you overcame with the 3 Belief program. But maybe it's you mended an old relationship with your neighbor, or you saved an extra $1,000, or you got back to fixing that fence in the back corner of your yard that you've been meaning to. Make a list, whatever it is, of the things that went well. On another piece of paper, make a list of all the things that didn't go so good. Now, out of those 2 lists, I want you to take 6 to 10 things that are most important to you, the ones that you think are the big ones, and write down what you learned from it. Well, I learned that when I mended the back fence, that my dog didn't get out into everybody else's yard, and I had neighbors yelling at me. That's what you learned, right? Or on your bad list, I learned that when I spend all my money before I get my paycheck, that people get really mad at me for asking to borrow their money so I can pay my bills. Whatever it is, pick 6 to 10 things that are most important and what you learned, what came out of those issues. And then take those things and write down of those 6 to 10, pick the 3 that you want to change the most, the things that you want to have progress in, and then create a vision board out of that, right? Now, out of your list, you'll get all kinds of things. You're going to get spiritual things, you're going to get financial things, you're going to get physical things, you're going to get that kind of stuff. I recommend that you then take that to create your vision board. Then you hop on the internet and you just go to Google Images, just type in the browser, images for a healthy body. And then you just go grab a picture. And then you put that on a Word document and you print it off, right? And then you use that as your vision board. That's the image, because that's what you will associate to. You pick the one that you like the most, okay? The one that you want to associate to. That becomes your vision board, right? So let's get back to progress. How do you progress? How in the world do I improve? I recommend that you raise your standards. Change your standards. Raise them up. To look at the things that you're no willing to do or no willing to settle for. You see, to make progress, those shoulds that I talked about, should lose 10 pounds, make it a must. It has to be a must. Like people, you've seen them that don't have enough money for rent or food, but they always seem to have money for cigarettes or alcohol, right? You see a kid that doesn't have books for school, for college, but he's got a cell phone, right? I got to stay in touch with my Facebook friends. People always make room for their must in their life. but no one gave them their must. They decided on their own, right? So decide what your musts are and then have them attached to your vision board. That's how your musts become more important than your shoulds, right? And people that follow through with who they are will act consistently with who they are. Now, what I meant is, if you self-identify yourself as a smoker, or you say things like, I'm a smoker, I'm big bone, I am bored, I'm a boring person, I'm not smart, right? I don't have imagination. I can't sell 3 Believe. I can't follow that diet. I'm a meat eater. I'm a carb eater. I'm a fruit eater. You are literally writing your future, who you will be. And your mind, your subconscious mind, will be consistent with that creation of what you identified. The human condition will always focus. That's that ARS. Your human mind will always focus on who you've identified yourself to be and who you made yourself to be. So you have to ask yourself, when did you label yourself that thing? How many years ago did you define that you are that thing? And when you look and see that when that was, sure enough, you've fulfilled your destiny. You've fulfilled who you created in your mind. That is a vision board already. So change it. Let me give you an example. I used to coach wrestling, and I was called by my old high school principal. He called me up and said, Jason, you were pretty good at wrestling. Why don't you come and coach our team? Now, at first it was a junior high school, then later it was a high school. And I said, I don't want to coach. And he talked me into it. And he said, look, don't worry about being embarrassed. We took last place in state the last 3 years. Don't worry about it. You can't do any worse than what we've already done. We're already at the bottom. So one of the things I did to change their passion and their must, it is this. When they walked into the room, I got everybody a gold medal. And I got it, and it looked like the state championship medal. And on the back of it, I engraved state champion. And I told them, when you walk in this room, in this wrestling room, you are a state champion. When you walk out this room, you have to give me that medal back. Because outside in the regular world, you've got to prove it to everybody. And that year, we took second in state. We had more state champions than anybody else on the team. That's the power of creating this vision board, the expectation. They rewrote what they had been living as taking last place into being, as a team, second in state, and for many of them, state champions. So, who have you built yourself to be? Don't limit yourself. This year, there are people that you can help. Some of them are with 3 Believe. Some of them are with love. Some of them are with finances. Some of them just with friendships. Some of them just with good information. Okay? So decide what those things are, what you want to recreate, and make them your passion. Right? So it's really just a shift. And how you do that is by rituals. How do you then create these new things? It's a ritual. You have a ritual when you get up and make your coffee in the morning. You turn on the hot water, you pull down your favorite mug, you get your coffee out, you get your sweetener out. You do it in a certain order. I do it when I hop in the shower. When I hop in the shower, first thing I do, I put on my shampoo. Well, I just can't put shampoo in my hair, wash it out in a few seconds. I want to get my money's worth, right? Plus, my wife told me that this is a special kind of shampoo and it soaks into my skin and does good things for my hair. I don't know. So I want it to soak in. So while that's soaking in, I shave. I shave my beard. I like doing it in the shower because I have really tender skin and I don't get bumps. And then after I'm done shaving, then I rinse out the shampoo and I put in my conditioner. Well, I want my conditioner to last the whole rest of the time. I'm then washing my face really good with the special stuff that my wife gave me, because she says it makes you look like you're, young and healthy. Okay, sounds good. And then I scrub the rest of my body. Well, then when I'm done rinsing off my body, rinse out my hair, that's my ritual. I do it every time. If I don't do that, or if I run out of my conditioner, my whole ritual's messed up. We do rituals every day. Create a ritual that's going to give you the outcome that you're looking for. If you want to build your body into health, then follow the ritual of the program. Why do you think I've given you a systematic way of overcoming metabolic syndrome? Because it's creating a ritual that you can follow, a simple thing that if you follow it long enough, then what will happen is that when you don't follow it, it'll feel out of ordinary. It'll feel strange. And that's why you'll continue to do the things that will benefit your life. Okay? So I advise you, as we come to the close of this, that you do these things that thousands, millions of people have learned is a success. How to make a lasting change or a progress in your life. Michael Jordan was considered the best basketball player in the world, but when they asked him, how did you do it? He set a new standard for himself, but his standard was himself. He didn't set a standard to beat everybody else, because that was an achieved goal, and then he had to make a new one. He was always competing against himself. He set a new standard for himself. I have experienced that very same thing. A short little experience, and I tell you this only because I thought of Michael Jordan. When I started my high school wrestling career, I was one of the few freshmen on the varsity high school team. In my high school, we had freshmen come to our high school. I was varsity as a freshman, and as I wrestle against seniors, people would tell me, a freshman can't beat a senior. That's just not done. Well, I didn't want that to be my standard, so I rewrote one. And I kept that mentality. Then my lifting coach told me, he said, my strength coach, he said, every 2 days that you're not working out, every day you don't work out, you lose 2 days of strength. Meaning it'll take you 2 days to get back to where you were by missing 1 day. Well, I didn't want that, because I got thinking, wait a minute, everybody's not working out on Saturday, and no one's working out on Sunday, and then we have a game at least once a week. Well, let's see, let me see here. 3 days off times 2, that's 6 days. There's only 7 days in the week. I'm only getting stronger and better 1 day out of the week. Now, I didn't know if that's the way it actually worked, but that's the impression it made to me. You know, one of the changes I made, a ritual that I made, I worked out on every game day. Football, wrestling, and track. I took all 3. So my coach would ask me, my friends would ask me, why in the world? Everybody's off. We get a day off. We got a game tonight. I don't want to get weaker. I don't want to get less. I can't afford to lose that extra day, because I knew that no one else was doing that. My competitors weren't doing that. And I knew that I could do it. They said, you'll be tired. You won't be able to put out your best. It didn't make sense to me. I could do my best at practice for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and still wrestle or play football at my full capacity at the end of practice, as I did the first of practice. So what difference does it make if I practice during the day and then wrestle that night? Didn't make any sense to me. And that's why I was able to excel, and finally I represented the United States. My senior year, I represented the United States as a wrestler, and competed against all other countries. And I was fortunate enough to represent and walk home and bring back to my fine country the gold medal as the best in the world for a moment of time. And I believe it was because of those rituals that I set because of a new standard that I made for myself. So this new year, make a ritual, all right? Decide what has to be, what must, what you cannot live with anymore, and the things that you have to have. And then make your vision board. There are people in your life that need the things that you have. Some of those people need the things of 3 Believe. I'm asking you, for those that you've introduced to 3 Believe, and there are some that have not captured the message. Some that have started the program and then have stopped. Well, I'm going to take responsibility that we didn't follow through with them because it was premature. We didn't have all our ducks in a row. But they still need it. Reintroduce it to them. We're better than we were then. And now's the time that we are going to come out and let the world know about what you have known and what you've experienced for 12 months. So reintroduce, ask them to come back. Take responsibility. If it wasn't used, take the blame anyway. It makes people feel good. They like to hear that. And tell them that you'll do better. Tell them that you'll make me do better. Tell them that you know Jason, and you know that my heart's in the right place, and that I'll listen to you, and we'll give them a special listening ear, and we will help them make a new vision for themselves. Because they want the same things that they wanted last year. When they first talked to you, they wanted the same things. Have them get on board. This will be the fastest growing and the largest affiliate, MLM, or home-based business the world has ever known because of you. And because of the standards that we're making, that you're helping me to make. So don't stop, keep going, and hopefully you'll take some of these things that I suggested that I found to be successful into your life. And do not be shy. Tell people about 3 Believe. Tell them your experience. Don't tell them the science. Don't tell them why it's better. Tell them your experience. Tell them how it mattered to you. That's what they want to hear. That's how they'll internalize it. So, I love you. I appreciate you. I believe in you. And I believe that we're going to make a difference. So I'm going to turn it on, see if I missed anything. Merv, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Is there anything that
I heard you.
You were there the whole time?
I was here the entire time.
Wow.
It was phenomenal. It was. I'm excited. Man, we got a tremendous year ahead of us, and the opportunity is just unbelievable.
We do, and those of you that are in the Freedom Train, I promise you, just trust me. I know that I'm asking you to do things that you're not familiar with, but please trust me. Just do it. You won't be disappointed. You're going to save literally thousands of lives and create a gigantic financial freedom for yourself and your family. So just do it. I promise it'll work. Merv, did I miss anything? Anything that you want to add?
I don't think so. You might ask a question. I talked to you some time ago. What is the people on the Freedom Train? What can they kind of anticipate on an income if they follow all the procedures that you and your wife will be sharing with us? Say by April and May, what could they anticipate an income? Do you think if they follow all the rules on the Freedom Train?
Well, that's a
tough, any expectations?
That's a tough answer. Let me tell you. Let me answer that question this way. I'm going to answer that like I would my wrestling team when I used to coach, and I'm going to answer it in a way of all the material that we've been learning of how to build a huge following. So one is, if you don't establish some musts, not shoulds in your life, musts, things that you've got to do, and that identifies your ritual, right? Then I got to tell you, you're not going to do very well at all. Why? Because your expectation is what you've got before. your mind is only focusing on, and your passion is only going to focus on what you've got before, and that isn't what you want. So it's not going to be any different. So it's going to be like any other business that you've gone into, and you'll just say, well, that guy had all the breaks. That person knew the people. They're smarter than me. They're younger than me. They're skinnier than me. They're funnier than me. Whatever the choice is, you're going to make those excuses. So that's one of the reasons why I talked about that little skit about your passion and making a New Year's resolution, right? So that's one thing you have to do. If you do that, then let me back up and say, this is what we've learned. Now, I have been talking to people and reading and listening to people that have learned the same concepts. I shouldn't say concepts. Actual technique, detailed steps. Because what I'm going to give you are steps, okay? It will be 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's going to be more than 4. But there will be very easy following steps that will get you to an end result literally as big as you want. Now, how big does that mean? I'm not saying that I guarantee this will happen, because it's really up to you. But there are people, right? One of the guys that followed these steps, he's 27 years old. He works out of his house online. He doesn't even have a product. He just sells everybody else's product. So he goes to a company and says, I think that product kind of cool. If I send people to your website and they buy your product, will you give me some of that percentage? Guess how much he does a year? $100 million. Well, he hasn't been doing it very long. He's 27 years old. And he works out of his house. He doesn't have a distribution center. He didn't even touch the product to ship it out. The company ships it out for him. Another guy, you've heard me talk about this one. A college student. In less than 3 months, he was selling instructions of how to make a potato gun that shoots potatoes, making $250,000 a year in 3 months. You see, it doesn't even matter what the product is. Ridiculous things. Here's one, just a simple software that a guy went to India, gave a programmer, paid, you're not going to believe this, $20, paid $20 to have this program written, an app on a phone, and he was making $50,000 a month using these techniques. You see, it doesn't matter what the product is. Now, you take our product that literally changes lives. It's the real deal. Nobody has what we have. And who is affected more than people that are affected by metabolic syndrome? People that want potato guns? Oh, there's many millions that want to overcome metabolic syndrome rather than buy a potato gun. And people that want apps on their phone, there is no other item that you could want to market that affects more people than metabolic syndrome. And you have it all right here. So the answer that I'm trying to tell you, Merv, if it's all in what you say. If a person says, look, my must is $1,000. I just need to make $1,000 more a month, then that will be what you'll get. If you come and say, I need to make $20,000 a month, you follow the steps and you do the musts, and that will be the list. One guy, I just thought of another one. Let me just give you an idea. This guy, he spends on Facebook $150,000 a month. That's his advertising budget. And he never spends more than 10% of his budget on advertising. What does that tell you? He's at least making $1.5 million a month. Now, you and I don't need that much money. So that may not be your must, but it may be 10,000. And if that's what it is, this program will literally tell you how to do that. You follow the steps, and that's what it'll be. So, hopefully that answers your question. I'm not going to promise you how much you're going to make, because it really depends on you. The data that we're going to give you, the information we're going to give you, the tools we're going to give you will get you there. But you got to put on the shoes. You got to climb outside your comfort zone a little bit. You just got to put it into practice. Does that answer the question?
It sure does. That's fabulous. So just hang on, man. I'll be right with you. That's great. Super.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take you as my coach.
I think it's time to wrap up. I think I wore out my welcome for the new year.
Never. Ashwagandha, when is it coming out?
Well, this is the new year. I'll tell you, it'll come out sooner than it did last year.
Good.
That's an absolute promise. And but I got to get that name first. So this year, now that we're in our new building, we just have one project. We're just finished up on our new lighting system for our kitchen area. And then we'll be able to focus back on some of our labeling. So it'll be very, very soon. Very, very soon.
Okay, we'll hold you to that.
Yes. And please send in your stories. I only have 10 stories. I only have 5 videos. Send those in. Let's get started. We got to. The Freedom Train is rolling out of station, but I got to have. So far, I only got 5 people that have qualified with the full assignment. So get them in.
Good call. Good call.
Thank you. I appreciate you all. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. God bless.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Good night,
Happy New Year.
everybody.
Good call.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Good call.